Okay, we're back. Now, what I got going on here is that first part was 15 minutes. That was your introduction to what we're going into now, transitioning out. Getting out and staying out is the subtitle, but transitioning out is one. This is a part of the collective that I'm doing 10 study lessons and transitioning out from one place of incarceration, institutionalization, because you don't have to be in prison to be institutionalized in a particular institution, because you can be in military people, go into the military, they learn particular one subculture in a greater large culture in the United States. And the military life is also, you could witness it probably in your own families, where people were in the military, and I was in there for 8 years, and they went out and they could not transition back into regular society because in the military the subculture is strong and dominant and is highly influential. If I said that word right, it's it leaves an impact on the mind and the psychic and the emotions when you're inside the military. It does. I know. I mean, I'm even now going to the VA. I'm meeting up with people and stuff who came out of Vietnam veterans that I come in contact with. Veterans coming out of the Iraqi First War, the 90s, which I was a part of in a small, minute way, but at still the same time, it had an impact on my life in that period of time that I was in. And then there's people that just came out of this last 9/11, this second Gulf War that we went to. So it's not that. Even in peacetime, people do a substantial amount of time in an institution and they become locked in that institution. When they get out on a larger cultural basis, it's kind of hard for them to dislodge from that, because we live in some cultures that we choose. Now, when we were born into a particular family, we couldn't choose our particular family. We didn't choose the neighborhood that we stayed in or the communities, and we didn't choose family, community, or neighborhoods. And we have no say in where we were born. But when we grow older, we become of age, and we go along, we do have choices and to where we spend our time and where do we spend our talents and where we spend our treasures. We have that particular ability to make those decisions at one point of time in our lives. But at that time where we chose, we are influenced. We're influenced by culturalism and things that go around us and what we see and hear, feel, and what touches us and what we touch. We are influenced by those things. And until we come to an awakening that we are in what we in and we want out, we got to come to a realization. Right now, in prison life, it's subculture in there. You eat, you sleep in a certain way, you listen to music in a certain way, you have your times, and you experience subculture. It's a dominant one. And I was saying earlier, how you came in counts. How you spend your time counts. And what you think about counts. Now, me personally, I was at Lunenburg Correctional Center for 8 years. I took advantage of what they had, a college program. And we went through that college program. Now, inside that subculture, we had a thing going on that was dynamic. And it was at Lunenburg Correctional Center. Ann Cavan was the principal, and some others. Her husband, Dr. John Cavan, he was the president of Southside Community College, and he brought the entire community college system inside the prison there. What an extraordinary thing. It was magnificent because what it did was it exposed us to a different way of thinking. Your thoughts and the way you think count. You better believe it. And I'm going to tell you, you can be so entrained and so institutionalized that you would really think that your life and what you got going on and your experiences is all there is. And really, it is all it is to you, because that's all you know. But let me tell you, there's a vast world out there, new experience to embrace, new people to meet, and knowledge to gain. And if you sit around thinking about the same thing that you always think about, you won't experience none of that. And what books and what knowledge you do, and because in prison you have your philosophies. You can gain philosophy, and it can be good. It can also be detrimental to you. At least choose something that's gonna be beneficial to your life, and I'm for that. I don't knock anything, but I just say, hey, let it be a beneficial to you once you go through and once you adopt it. Because now that subculture, that there's some people that went in some one way, and 9 times out of 10, the sum total who you are goes with you everywhere. That's common sense. That's practical knowledge. And usually the same guys that were, when they went in there one way, they came out that way. And that's just it. Now you can gain something good, and you can gain some bad, and you latch on to it. But Ann Kevin and John Kevin, they brought that program in there, and we went through the first Southside Community College there at Lunenburg Correctional Center. We went through that program, and we was the first graduates in 2002, and we had a good time. There was a lot of guys that we were together. We stood together. We had that math or liberal arts. And it was hard. I mean, just to throw some names out there, Mr. Bingham, and some of us, we got together. We got together and we studied, and we wouldn't let each other quit. Because when you do stuff that you've never done before, it's uncomfortable, especially at a certain age, and you're trying to learn something that's hard. And there was people that quit. But when on the later years, we only lost one person. That person went and got transferred. But when all this whole group that started in that first program and getting their Associates of Science degree, Associates Applied Science degree, we stood together. We made it through it. I came out with graduated magna cum laude, and 3.8, I think that's what I had. And so it was good, but we stood together and we came out. I've never been all that good at math, but I made A's in both, because we stood together in that subculture. It has its advantages. You have to use and make the advantages work for you. And so there's different things, like I was saying earlier, that you must participate in. You must participate in your own life. You can't expect somebody to do this for you when it is designed for only you. You can only do that which is necessary for the transitioning of your life to one position to another. If you're tired of the position that you're in now, one thing about sitting in prison does, it makes you sick and tired of being there. But you know what? You can be sick and tired of something and make the situation worse. I've seen it with my own eyes. Fighting against the COs, thinking everybody against you, fighting against the fellow inmates. Get on the basketball court, your attitude stinks. Everybody knows it. You can't even have fun. Everything is wrong. You complain about everything when you need to be getting your ideas together and saying, how I'm going to do it when I get out of here. How I'm going to make this thing work for me instead of always working against me. Now, that was a good thing for us. For me, I took advantage of that, and I got that associate's degree. And when I got out, it was easier for me to get that grant. They told me about that grant in the transition out program. And you know what? That was good for me. I thought about that thing. Get that grant money. Go back to school. Get your bachelor's degree. I got that bachelor's degree within less than 2 years when I got out. I got my bachelor's degree and got a job in the area. I graduated with a bachelor's in occupational safety and health. Now, what made me think about choosing that field because I did research and I was talking to Mr. Nicholson. He was there at the time. I think his name is John Nicholson. I'm not sure. And Mr. Wilmoth. They was both instructors in the vocational area. And I went through the OSHA 10. And I went to do my research, and I found out that people with felony can go into the occupational and safety field and profession. It's a profession. It's very lucrative, pay real good. So I went in, I got my OSHA 10, and when I got out, I got that bachelor's degree in occupational safety and health. Mr. Nicholson told me, said, hey, if you want to do it, this might be the best. You need to get your associate's degree in it, and I went on and got my bachelor's in it. Now I'm halfway through with my master's in occupational safety and health, and got a job as a safety coordinator for an electrical company. Now I got one brother I just mentioned at the introduction part of this session, CDM. He went through the electrical class right there at Lunenburg Correctional Center. He went through the basic and then he took the advanced. Now he's in Richmond on the street right now, got his own family, got a nice 2-story split level house, got a beautiful wife, getting ready to have a baby. He's doing good. And I remember him taking advantage of it while he was in the prison. Now he's working for an electrical company, outperformed everybody on his job because he applied himself. You can't tell me it can't be done. I ain't got no business really being a safety professional in nobody's company, but they gave me a chance because I applied myself. You can do it, and everything I'm saying is well documented. You know, you don't work for nobody that you don't pay, and that they don't pay taxes to the government, and your name ain't on the state's list of where you work at, and federal list too, because you got to pay them 2 taxes. So it's well documented. And then you don't go to nobody's school that's accredited school without receiving a paperwork for graduation. And not only that, and I'm gonna bring my certificates and plaque. I have been nominated in the National Society of Leadership and Success from Columbia Southern University chapter, and it's just a privilege and honor. And I'm not too long. I'm just telling you what can be done. I did 20 years in the system, man. You can't tell me that you can't be done. Just stop that mess. It's not true. Let somebody else feed you that mess. You know what? Misery love company. You get around folks that all they gonna put in your ear, you can't do it, don't do it. And then this thing that them people ain't, you got a pink slip against you. You can't be fool. That's just a bunch of bull. And I'm telling you, you got to apply yourself. You got to arm yourself. Now you're in that situation now where you get ready to transition to one phase of your development to the next. And you are there. If you get that 12 months part and you in the program, transition out, now you have an opportunity. And I do like to say right now, I'm standing here, how you doing, Kevin Lipson? I miss you dearly, and I'm hoping the best for you. And the correctional professionals there, Mrs. Anderson, who was instrumental in helping it. Miss Pulliam, I think she's going into probations or some other department now, but she was there. Some other counselors, the veterans part that was there, Mrs. Hill, I think her name was. She might have been married or something now, but she was there helping, and it was just an extraordinary experience in that transition out program. But like I said, it's just institutionalization don't just happen. I mean, marriage is an institution. People get into marriages and get stuck, and they get in a train of thought, and then subculture comes and they get institutionalized in that. But we're talking about institutionalization being, what it means and what it entails, and so we won't have to be thinking. And I don't want to get your thoughts in thinking in one particular strand, your subculture, because what I don't want you to do is to get locked in and think, Lord, woe is me. I'm the only one that's going through stuff. I the only one that been through this situation and whatnot, and everybody is against me. The world is against me, and nobody's helping me out. Look, man, you know what? That happens now. You get that mentality, that woe is me mentality, and you gonna be looking at everybody else, pointing at them for the situation that you're in, and guess what? You're never gonna be out. You're always gonna be stuck. Because if change is gonna happen and you're gonna transition out, get out, and to stand out, it's going to have to begin with you. Now, you know that there's statistical data and information dealing with you, the incarcerated, dealing with you, the person that's been locked up. They use that big word recidivism. People coming back. I'm saying transition out, getting out and staying out. Ain't got nothing to do with recidivism. You coming back. It has something to do with the recidivism rate. Be a part of this statistic that says, hey, I made it. I got out of this thing and I transitioned out of here and I'm out here on the streets and I'm doing good. You'll be able to say that, and I'm not going back. It's okay to say that I'm not going back. But let's be realistic here. There's a lot of people say that they ain't gonna happen to me, I ain't going back. And really, when you don't plan, prepare, and prioritize, you get in a rut and you get in a situation, you get stuck, and you don't have any new information, you don't have no way of knowing what you're going to do or how you're going to do it, and you go back and resort to the same thing. Guess what? You can say as much as you want to, but hey, if you do the same things that you did to get in, hey, don't be surprised. They taking your clothes again. They taking your car, and they taking these things, and you got to give them away and stuff like that, and they give you a number. Now you take that same number you had when you came in there. Now, and they got the recidivism for non-sex crime. They say the recidivist with technical violations and new crimes, it takes 1.5 years, or 1.2 years back. Property crimes, 1.2 years, for violators, technical violators, and 1 year. And for non-violent crimes and drugs, is 1.1 year. You see how this situation goes? And on average, it takes 1.2 years for people to come back with technical violations and new crimes. Now, but you don't have to adhere to the statistic. You can decide to make your own statistic dealing with your own life and referring to you, and that's reflective of your decisions, your behavior. And I am a firm believer in that. Now, this ain't cool to some people. This kind of talk ain't hip. It ain't gangster. This kind of talk, it might be flimsy to some people. Guess what? I did 20 years, and you can talk about me having a bachelor's is flimsy. You could talk about me being in grad school and sitting in there now with a 3.6 grade point average. And you could talk about that being flimsy all you want to. But guess what? When I went in the system, they didn't have cell phones. I didn't know what a cell phone looked like. And look, when they didn't have these laptop computers, when I went in the system in 94, I got out in 2014. They didn't have all this stuff, man. I came out to brand new everything. Look, when I was driving down the car, I hadn't drove a car in 20 years, man. And I got out and got my license in 12 days. I drove around with my mom's car. Hold on just a second. Hello? I drove around with my mom's car in the yard and stuff, whatnot, for a while. Until I got comfortable. But I tell you what, even after I got my license, I was going out, still had to get comfortable. Because like trees were falling on me. After 20 years, I was looking down the road, traveling, and I saw cars going around, looked like they was going directly inside the woods. I slowed my car down. I said, I don't want to go in those woods. I don't know what's around in them woods. This is not where I'm going. And I was riding around the same roads I grew up in. And things has changed so much, and the situation was so dire to me. And you know what? And that's the adjustment stage. It is serious business, especially if you did a substantial amount of time. I'm talking to them guys too that did the time, but it affects everybody differently. I snapped out of it because I had mantras. When I was in prison, when I ran around that track, those that know me, I ran around that track often. That's one of the ways I kept my wind up and strength up, because I knew that when I got out, I'm gonna have to do some heavy lifting, maybe. But you know, I ran around that track, and I had some mantras. I said, I am somebody. I can make it. I won't fail. I'm going to the top. You got to have you some mantras, your personal strength, and your strength and hope on the inside, and develop it. That's what I got. You got your own. You adopt your own. It's okay. Your philosophy, your mantra that you say, adopt as long as it's beneficial for you. I'm with it. But I mean, that's what I did. But when I went around, and when something said, keep right on going, I was getting ready to turn my car around when I saw those cars that was 100 yards in front of me, and they looked like they was going inside the woods. Something said, no, keep on going. Don't stop, because I was ready to turn that car around. I was scared, y'all. Something said, keep right on going. When I got down there, it was just a curve going around inside. Nobody was going inside the woods. Nobody's going inside the woods. That's what's your mind saying? A lot of things that your mind is telling you is false, and you got to divorce it. Divorce those stinking thinking, and I'm going to call it just like stinking thinking. Divorce those thoughts that's telling you, hey, you're going to crash. You keep on going, you're going to go inside the woods, and them trees going to fall on you. It's just pathetic. And I went through it, though. And I'm telling you that I made it through it, and I feel so good now. I tell you, after that, I was driving everywhere. I had my license in 12 months. My sister-in-law gave me a car. I had a car, and within that month of me got out. Got in November, and around Thanksgiving time, and had my license. And then I had a car in December. I was just driving everywhere. Went everywhere I could go. I just drove and just drove. After 20 years, man, I had a good time and having a good time now. But I know some limitations and boundaries are there. I know what I had to do to stay and to be productive on parole and probation. I know I had to do it, and that's what I had to do. You too, and you can do it. You got to get around yourself. Now, them men that I surrounded myself with, they're out. And another brother in Hampton, Virginia, as you know, he done been on CBN, gave his testimony, been on TV. He's a great singer. He was singing while he was in there. And I'm just gonna say travel. Y'all, you know, some of y'all might know him. He was a man of God, and he's a man of God. And got 2 young babies. I met him when he was 18. He's about 30 now, and he got 2 young babies with a wife, and doing good in his business and everything. Now, there's some most of the stories I'm giving you. I'm talking about the people that I wanted to associate with, and people that want to do it. If you associate with those type of people that's doing it, go right ahead. You're your own man. You're going to do what you want to do anyway. If you want to be, okay, if it's cute and pretty to you, the man that's the gangster, the drug dealer, okay then. That, you know, I mean, I admire some of them guys too. I admire them guys, and I respect them. That's about it. I want to be with it. I don't, because you know what? I ain't like it. I didn't like doing it. I ain't like being in that 20 years. I ain't like it. I didn't like it, but I had to do it. I didn't like smelling feet stinking and butt and toe jam. I didn't like all that. So I made a decision. I ain't gonna go back. Now, that's not no reflection on nobody. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting you down because I've been there, and you can't say that I'm putting you down. 20 years, man. Come on. You can't say I'm picking you up. I'm just giving you the hard facts and reality to it. Reality Now there's some other guys that also that was in there, and there was one guy, and I'm gonna say his first name, Mustafa. While he was at Lunenburg, he was picked on, but that man doing good now. Got us, just had a baby, married, and doing good good businessman. I knew he was gonna make it, and you know why? Because he was an individual. He didn't let them people that was always talking about him get him down. He kept his dreams and his visions alive, and he got a good woman that's with him and stayed with him, and he ain't in prison no more. And the same ones that ridiculed him and called him names, everything, because he doesn't like the norm. He wasn't like the norm and stuff. He ain't addressed the situations like everybody did, and he wasn't doing what everybody else wanted him to do and talk like they wanted to. He was his only person, and I respect that. And I know that now he has a wife and a kid, and he got 2 kids, I think it is, and because she had one already, but now he has a child of his own. And I just take my hats off to him and these other men, and that we still keep in touch. Q, the one that was singing that Lunenburg, great singer, he's doing well. Everything. We all have our struggles out here, but I'm telling you now, decide in your mind to get with positive people, get a strong structure of good men with the right thing on the mind, and keep in contact with them. Look, when I get on Facebook and when I get on social, because they ain't had none of that when I was out, I learned all that. That stuff was fascinating to me. Facebook and all this stuff, getting in touch with people, and then other social media. It's easy to date. Oh man, this stuff was good to me, and I picked up real fast on that part. I got that. Here I am, 50 almost now. Hair. I got me because I'm in construction. I can wear my hair like this and get a nice cut and everything like that. And I can do all this and wear it. I'm in construction. I'm a safety coordinator in safety management. I'm a safety professional with certifications. I got a certified OSHA 10, OSHA 30. I'm now getting my MESH, which is management and environmental safety and health professional. I'm getting that hours. That's from the state. I have my bachelor's, I'm working on my master's, and then I'm also a CPR, a first aid, and an AED instructor. I'm also certified in all those areas, but I'm also have an instructor's certification in those areas as a safety professional. And that's just what you can do. I mean, I just love it because if I don't do nothing else, like my grandma used to say, if I can't say a word, I just wave my hand. If I can't say a word, I just wave my hand. And when you wave your hand, what you saying? You're saying bye-bye. Used to sing a song in prison. Bye-bye world, I live no longer with you. Goodbye, depression. And the kids, I live no longer with you. I made up my mind. I think Calvin Lipson came up with that I'm going to live the rest of my life. And that's what it's all about. Decide to live the rest of your life. The things you can go through this transition. Now, once you're in there, we talk about institutionalization, and I didn't get off any. It's just a part of the conversation that we must have. This is a part of the conversation that we must have. You must be aware where you're at now mentally. Know where you're at mentally. Think about what you think about. Realize how prison life affected you in every area. And I realized man, I had a chip on my shoulder. I was angry. I thought I didn't realize until I started looking deep into it. I was like, man, I got a chip on my shoulder. I'm angry. Nobody, and I had to deal with that part of myself. I had to deal with, because you know what? You can't go on nobody's job and gonna survive out here in the streets with a chip on your shoulder, angry at the whole world and everybody, and thinking they did it to you. You ain't gonna make it like that, man. Because I'm gonna tell you now, this is what happened to me one situation, and I knew that was part of the institutionalization, and we define what institutionalization means as I taught. And to fully understand how difficult it is to adjust in society, it could be, you must realize and think about how much of the prison life you have accumulated into your life. You accumulated a lot of subculture prison stuff a part of your life if you stayed in this. I don't care if you stayed in. Everybody internalize and actualize things different than others. It's the way you did. You got to think about how it affected you. How did it affect you being in there with them? It just, did it make you sour? Sometimes you don't know if you sour until you open up the lid. Because a lot of times your lid is closed now. You don't even know you sour because the lid is closed. You got to unscrew that lid and take that lid off of your life and see and smell that your attitude stinks. And then I'm going to tell you what some people do. Instead of emptying out that sourness, they'll take that lid and cover it back on there because they don't want to deal with it. They want to deal with past hurts and the situations that caused them to be where they're at in prison and have the emotions and whatnot that they feel, and you deal with them. Deal with it while you're there. Have that 12 months. Go through these programs seriously. Think about it. When you go back, lay down on your back. Think. If you pray, pray. If you meditate, meditate. Whatever it calls you to do to, dislodge and begin your transitioning out. It's a journey that you must do. So you think about how the instant being in prison affected you. It is vital for you to understand that your adaptation to a prison lifestyle will create adjustment problems in society. Now, how I know that I had to adapt 20 years, man, I had to adapt to it. Come on. I had to adapt to it. I ain't had to compromise myself. I didn't compromise myself because I ain't come out with diabetes, AIDS. I ain't come out strung out on drugs because that happens in there now. You know what do in prison. You get these things, and that subculture is detrimental. The wardens and the CEO can't keep all that stuff out of it. Matter of fact, some of them is bringing it in there. And the authorities and stuff can't catch everything. You know that the subculture is affected with a lot of negativity from within and from without. It's affected. So you had to do what you had to do to adjust. Now you become aware of it. Becoming institutionalized means accepting and learning to live a new way of life. And upon re-entry into society means that you must abandon this way of life, which you have learned and lived for years. You mean to tell me I had to abandon how I was living for 20 years? Yes. Because if I didn't, I would have wrecked somebody, towed somebody up with that car, because I have lived without driving, and I had to learn to live without driving and get that out of my mind. Because what if I sat there for 20 years thinking about, I remember driving, I miss it, and it's okay. And then I'm walking. Instead of running around the laps and stuff, saying good mantras and positive things, I'm driving a car. They won't give me some, whether I wanted that drugs or not. If I'm sitting there driving I seen guys do it. Drive, when they get in that situation and stuff, and then doing inappropriate things while you're there, because it was okay. It was okay for me to adjust. I had to. But now the situation is you're transitioning time. It's a transitioning time. Now you need to transitioning in your way of thinking from being in there into the adjustment to that lifestyle until living life on the streets. You got to abandon that way out here. You can't be taking soups and throwing them on the ground and stuff like that. Folks gonna think you're crazy, and then doing different things like I ain't made no gula. I ain't had no big swole since I've been out. I only, some of the stuff I was out there 20 years. Some of the stuff I can remember because military life and being a good parents and whatnot, and making decisions, you easily transition. But you know what? You can be out here for 3-4 years and forget some of that stuff. You had to remember it. And so you can adjust, but you must abandon some of those ways. Not everything, but some of them is not going to cut it out here. You must decide what some of those things are. And number one, I'm going to tell you right off the hand, trying to blame folks and get over that type thing, not dealing with your taking responsibility for your own action, expecting somebody else to do something for you, because that's one of the things in subcultures in prison. Everything is done for you, eating, sleeping, feeding, all that. You got to abandon that. You got to abandon that mentality. If you don't abandon that, folks doing something for you, you got to do it for yourself. You know, that's just it. You got to abandon that thought. You are expected, once you get out here, to change and readapt to society immediately upon your release. There is no incarceration, incremental adjustment time. There's no time. Once you step out of there, if you ain't got it, then you're going to feel the effects of feeling an adjustment. Some of the stuff you go through when you're in prison, your diet, prison life and prison diet is different than what was on outstrike. So think about that. Think about it. I mean, I was on prison diet for 20 years. And I've seen people have get out. There's certain diseases that come with living in confined spaces and around people confined like we do. A lot of people get hepatitis, different types of hepatitis in there, and I've seen it. Thank God that I didn't. Because of hygiene and stuff like that, you do it. Some people immune system is different, brother. But I tell you, when I first got out, after 20 years on the prison diet, there was some stuff, man, that ran right through me. Oh my God, I tell you, it ran right through me. I felt like, my God, I don't want none of this. And none of this spicy stuff that the Dominicans and black Hispanics eat. I don't want none of this. And so I had to get adjusted with. Then wearing the clothes, everyday clothes. And I when I first got, I was wearing some of the stupidest stuff. Now, I was the female that I was dating. Once I got with her out there, I had went out and got some clothes that was from 1970. It was 2014. I had some stuff from 1970 on. I didn't even know how stupid I looked. Matter of fact, I thought some of that stuff looked good. It was funny, y'all. I wish you could see me then. It was just absolute. But good thing I didn't have somebody that was judgmental. If you get somebody, that's another thing too. You got to your family members and the people that you surround yourself with is just as much a part of your transitioning out than you are, and you must decide that. Because you don't, the average person don't want to be ridiculed, put down, especially a man. We want to feel like we in control and we got it all together at all times. But that's where the problem comes in. You ain't gonna have it all together when you get out. You ain't gonna be looking all pristine, got it all. You just might as well. You're gonna have some moments that's quirky, and you're gonna be just as backwards as on or what. And that's okay. What I'm trying to tell you. One thing about me, and then now I'm dressing just as good as I can be. I'm doing good. Here I am. I buy my own clothes. And, I make my own. Right now I'm bumming. This is what called my bum time. I got black Timberlands boots on. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, 20 years, man, I thank God for these clothes I got on. Whatever. In my own way. You do it whatever you want to do. It's okay. But just know that it's okay, man. There gonna be some awkward times because you had a particular diet. You wore the same clothes every day. You're gonna do some adjustment, and you had free laundry. I got to pay for my laundry now. This is okay, and I love it. You got to love being able to pay for your laundry, paying your house rent and everything. It's okay. It's not. Just take it in your own pace. Don't be so overwhelmed and frustrated, because you know what frustration make you do? Sell drugs. Make you sell drugs, rob folk to get that money. If you don't take your time and be patient, you'll go out and smash somebody over the head because you just can't take the time, the length of time it takes. You calm down. Be easy on yourself. Don't be so. And then get around people that's gonna be around. Enjoy yourself. Sometimes you're gonna need some relaxation time. Every time, I made sure that I had me some times where I enjoy myself even now. And I kept around them same people that was positive out there. We stayed together and we encourage each other. We call each other on the phone. How you doing, man? What's up? You doing good? Everything is all right. You need, you know what I mean? That's the type of thing that we did, that we do now. Food and clothing, living arrangements were free. On the inside, they ain't free no more. And every destination was within 2 or 3 minute walking distance. Now that's another thing that can get you frustrated out here. If you're in a city, a small town, where jobs and stuff is miles away, you got to catch a ride, or there ain't no public assistance for travel, transportation. There ain't none of that. You got to make it way your own stuff. You know, get a bicycle, get a moped or something. You know, a lot of people do that. I mean, you just got to. There's an adjustment time you got to think about these things now. And look, I didn't look even I had to think about. I had this list. I had the same list that I'm going over now, but I didn't realize that there wasn't no social media. There wasn't no internet. There wasn't no cell phones. This was a big addition to culture. This information age and communication, it made everything so small and so little. Yes, it did. I had very limited responsibilities while I was in prison. Now I got a lot. Stayed up late nights and slept late in the morning. Can't do that when you got a full-time job and you're a safety professional. You got to go to sleep because I got to get up 5:30 in the morning and go to work as a safety professional. And then that personal relationship with the you ain't had no personal relationship with the opposite sex. You male bonded in there, in any way that you decided. But I'm telling you that now I had to get used to that. I was dating females, and I was talking to them the same way I was talking to you. I didn't know that. My sister had to tell me, Tim, you can't talk to no female the same way you talk to them guys in prison. That hurts their feelings. I mean, here it is, 20 years. I was in the military before then. Now that's what it is. Just think about it. I was in the military for 8 years before I got locked up. And then when I got locked up, been locked up for 20 years, around hard men and stuff in the military. Because that, I loved it. And that got that part of that institution, I loved it. And I got in trained with it. And some of the still same military habits follow me the rest of my life. And because number one, I embraced it and I loved it. I handled myself in the same way that I did when I was doing that time in the military. And I'm telling you, and so I had to find out, man, you got to sharpen up. Because I was, my girlfriend, I was cutting off. Yeah. Do what you want to do. What? Until one day I went to her house and she wouldn't come out the door. We supposed to went to Richmond to visit, the brother I was telling you about. The CD and him, we supposed to go visit him and stuff. I went to go pick her up. She ain't come out. She ain't come out because I was, and I'm thinking it was her. I said, what's wrong with this girl? She crazy. It wasn't her. I need to learn how to talk to her. You can't talk to her. I can, like your sailing buddy in the military carrying a gun hard, and he got your back and ready to bust anybody side the head like that woman. You can't talk to her like that. So I had to learn that. See, I'm saying that being in the prison, if you show any kind of signs of softness or weakness, they get your tail. They got you. They go, they gonna rag on you, joke you, fight you, and everything else. But I'm just saying that, and you're gonna be ostracized and ridiculed and cast aside. But that I'm just saying these type of things that you have to realize. Think about these things now. Think about um you don't have to be accountable for any time in there. And that's why now I guess I had to remarry because I've been enjoying myself so much and making my own money and accumulating things that it's hard for me to somebody tell me, "Well, Tim, where you been at all night? You got to come in at 2 in the morning." I shoot, I can't. If you don't realize and think about that, it's going to and it can impede and inhibit what you want and desire because there's a lot of men. I was married before, and I would like to be married again, and that's my desire. But what is inhibiting my desire in that area is because of what I have still haven't just because I came a long ways. In the era of relationship, I'm still growing. And we all must grow if we must live. Everything that's living is growing. Whether it's emotionally, psychologically, physically, you're spiritually, you're growing. Anything that's not growing is dead. And anything that's dead need to be buried. So, and that's what I'm getting at this point. That even those train of thought and the mentality must be buried, must be cast aside, must be put aside until something better. Then, that was just an example. The way I thought about that and the way I treated in relationships. Relationships are different. I was mostly involved with the same sex. Now I have to involve myself with the opposite sex. And you can't do it the same way. And I've had to realize that real quickly. And you ain't have no accountability with money. And that takes a long time. If you have been in a non-accountability situation with finances, that is one of the hardest things to come out of, to dislodge from. Because you in there, you just take all the money, buy all the number canteen, food. You can't do that on here. You can't do it. Now, one thing about it is you can get food stamps and stuff, and some people can, some people can't. You can get substances and stuff like that. I took and I got my I took my Pell Grant, and that was good money. I was getting about about every 8 weeks because I was in the fast track at my college. I was at Columbia Southern University. I was in the fast track, and every 8 weeks I was getting about $3,000, and that $2,500 that would last a long time because I would make it last. But I was also working. I was taking that money, this money, putting it together, my working money, and that money. Now, so I was got me a Dodge Ram truck, paid for it. Got me a Ford Taurus and paid for it. They were used, but they were mine. Now I bought me a camper, and I paid for it. Nice, pretty much. I got some stuff to do to it, but it's still nice. And what I'm saying is you can do those things. But if you have you weren't in prison, you weren't accountable to your money. But you could have decided, to do it. Now, what I did is that money I was making as a teacher aide in prison, I was putting some of that and paying little credit cards off throughout the 20 years. But, everybody don't have the same discipline. I had some of my father's training and military training help me out. Everybody ain't got that same training. They got to be taught. But you can be taught. You can do it, young men. You can do it, older men. I don't care how long you did in there. You can become accountable when it comes to finances. Because I'm going to tell you now, you got to pay your probation in the state for being on probation. You got to do that in fines. And then, if you ever want your license, you got to pay that off if you owe anything. You're going to go through all of that in transition program. They're going to tell you, take it serious. Think about it. Talk about it. Express yourself. If you got questions about how can I do it, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask. And especially if you've been locked up 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, some people. It's a long time. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't feel like you're less than a man because you don't know. Get that out of your thinking. For surround yourself by positive support group. A lot of time, if you might not even be an alcoholic, drug addict. I tell you, there's some positive things going on in there to them meetings. If you're a person of faith, whatever your faith is, I ain't got no faith. That ain't none of my business. Whatever your faith is, if it's positive and it causes and it benefits in your life, your philosophy, get about it, get with it, and be about it, and come out of it unscathed. Come out of it. Went through the fires, and I went through the waters, flood waters of prison. I went through the terrible hurricane of prison, and I came out alive. I'm here to talk to you about it. Well, and we talked about some of the things that we go through today during this time, institutionalization, what it is and what it means in so many terms. And I talked about, and I gave some scenarios. So we're going to stop here, and we're going to come back later on with another session. But remember these things that we talked about today. Now is the time. Getting out and staying out. But you first must get out. You can stop your getting out process by making the wrong decision. Getting mad, not dealing with frustrations, and then allowing that to internalize and you swell up in you and explode until you lashing out again, back in the same situation than you was for leaving. And jokers alone. If they ain't going where you want to go, leave them right where they at. All right then. Well, okay. We're gonna talk to you later on. Have a wonderful day.